where do you think are like the biggest threats to, or the biggest problems, and then where's the biggest opportunities for whether that's journalists, editors, media in general when it comes to like AI?
Well, I think first and foremost that AI is just going to completely disrupt the whole genre of just written and print content because it's like generative AI models are built basically to do this thing. And especially when it comes to things like breaking news, it's going to completely change how breaking news journalists do their jobs because they're going to go from people that previously had to do everything manually to being the ones who are simply just checking the output of a model and making sure that's accurate and trying to direct that energy to making sure that there's high amounts of signal and that the content that they're producing and that they're leveraging those tools efficiently for how it interacts with the rest of the publication. So it's it's going to be tricky. I think that there's going to be a lot of resistance from publications to adopt this technology because journalists are a bit old school in the technologies that they want to use. Even crypto journalists are very reluctant to adapt to new things because they're already so squeezed for time. Like they need to spend all their time ingesting a ridiculous amount of content on social media. They need to spend a bunch of their time like being on call essentially to write stories on short notice. The idea that they have to spend a good chunk of their day now to like retool their skills and like learn a completely new skill set is pretty daunting to someone that's been a journalist for a long time. So I think that's one of the big risks is that you're going to have this whole old guard of journalists who are going to be very resistant to the technology, and they're likely going to feel a certain way about this new crop of like younger journalists who aren't even doing very much writing at all. They may not even be very good writers for a matter of fact, but they just have the skills necessary to utilize AI to do reporting much more quickly with higher accuracy and leverage these tools to change how and the volume of content that they're able to produce. And I think the other risks associated with AI is that it makes it a lot easier basically to repackage stories from other publications, which is already an existing problem in pre AI journalism. You see this happen all the time where the stories that outlets write are all very similar to each other because they're basically the same stories. They're all being the inspiration is being taken from the same sources on social media, or they're literally just looking at stories on other publications and rewriting them so they can get a sliver of that traffic that the first to publish has already gotten.